Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into the dark and gripping world of history's most infamous assassinations. From political leaders to cultural icons, these high-profile killings have shocked the world and changed the course of history. Join us as we uncover the chilling stories behind these tragic events, explore the motives, the masterminds, and the lasting impact each assassination had on the world. Stay tuned for a journey through time that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Let's get started. 1. President John F. Kennedy. JFK's presidency lasted just over 1,000 days when he was shot and killed in a motorcade in Dallas. Lee Harvey Oswald is the accused assassin of President John F. Kennedy. As history records, at 12:30 p.m. on November 22, 1963, from a window on the 6th floor of the Depository Building, Oswald, using a mail-order rifle, allegedly fired 3 shots that killed President Kennedy. On the morning of November 24th, while being transferred from a jail cell to an interrogation office, Oswald was shot by a distraught Dallas nightclub owner, Jack Ruby. Despite the official conclusion by the Warren Commission that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, many believe there was a larger plot. Some theories suggest that the CIA was involved, retaliating against Kennedy for the Bay of Pigs invasion fiasco. Another theory implicates the mafia, angered by the Kennedy administration's crackdown on organized crime. Some believe Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson had a hand in the assassination to gain the presidency. There are also claims that anti-Castro Cuban exiles, upset over the failed attempts to overthrow Fidel Castro, were involved. The mysterious Umbrella Man, seen in footage near the assassination site, has also fueled speculation of a signal to shooters. The Grassy Knoll theory posits that a second gunman fired from that location, contradicting the lone gunman narrative. The House Select Committee on Assassinations in the 1970s concluded there was a probable conspiracy, though specifics were unclear. 2. Julius Caesar. The Ides of March, March 15, 44 BC, is the day that as many as 60 conspirators decided to assassinate Caesar at the meeting of the Senate. Collectively, the group stabbed Caesar a reported 23 times, killing the Roman leader. The conspirators believed that by killing Caesar, they could restore the Republic's former power and prevent a dictatorship. The death of Julius Caesar ultimately had the opposite impact of what his assassins hoped. 3. President Abraham Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth shot and killed President Lincoln while he was attending a show at Ford's Theater in April of 1865, just after the end of the American Civil War. Booth shot Lincoln in the head with a .44 caliber Derringer pistol at close range. After shooting Lincoln, Booth leapt from the balcony to the stage, breaking his leg in the process, and escaped on horseback. Booth had planned the assassination as part of a larger conspiracy to revive the Confederate cause by killing Lincoln, Vice President Andrew Johnson, and Secretary of State William Seward. While Booth succeeded in killing Lincoln, his co-conspirators failed in their attempts on Johnson and Seward. Lincoln was taken to a nearby boarding house where he remained in a coma for several hours before dying the next morning on April 15, 1865. A massive manhunt ensued, leading to Booth's capture and death 12 days later in a Virginia barn. 4. Martin Luther King Jr. James Earl Ray was King's assassin. Ray had been a small-time crook, a robber of gas stations and stores, who had served time in prison, once in Illinois and twice in Missouri, and received a suspended sentence in Los Angeles. He escaped from the Missouri State Penitentiary on April 23, 1967, and in Memphis, Tennessee, nearly a year later, on April 4, 1968, from a window of a neighboring rooming house, he shot King, who was standing on the balcony of a motel room. Ray escaped the country but was caught 2 months later in London and extradited back to the United States, where he was sentenced to 99 years in prison. 5. Mahatma Gandhi. Leader of the non-violent independence movement in India, Gandhi was shot 3 times at point-blank range by Nathuram Godse, a Hindu nationalist who opposed Gandhi's advocacy for peace and cooperation with Muslims. Godse believed Gandhi treated Muslims with more respect than Hindus by incorporating the Quran into his teachings in Hindu temples, for example, while refusing to read from the Bhagavad Gita in mosques. Godse was also critical of what he considered to be Gandhi's ineffective use of power in the Indian National Congress during and after the partitioning of the country. 6. Ngo Dinh Diem. The autocratic ruler of South Vietnam at the beginning of the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, Diem was strict in the face of communism. However, the United States officials soon realized he was a difficult leader to deal with, as he was also hard-ruling against his own people, particularly the Buddhist majority, and was reluctant to allow the democratic reforms suggested by U.S. advisors. Rumors of a coup against Diem began circulating, and the U.S. faced a dilemma: support the coup or continue to support Diem, who had become increasingly difficult to deal with. On November 2, 1963, a group of Vietnam Army officers assassinated Diem and his brother. The U.S. has never publicly admitted involvement, and officials at the time were divided on whether or not to support the coup. Diem's removal did nothing to improve the instability in South Vietnam and the conditions of warfare. Instead, conditions in South Vietnam would become more unstable, with a series of factions gaining and losing power in the government over the next few years. This would lead to greater U.S. involvement in the war, in which 58,000 Americans and 1.5 million Vietnamese were killed. Controversy would consistently increase over the next several years in the United States and abroad, with protests often resulting in violence. 7. Indira Gandhi. In the early 1980s, parts of India were experiencing religious turmoil. Certain sects of separatist Sikhs were campaigning for their own independent homeland. The government responded by attempting to shut down this group amid terror attacks and politically motivated killings. In 1984, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was leading the country and known for her political ruthlessness. She was India's first female prime minister and, to date, is the second longest serving. Gandhi gave military officials the go-ahead to raid the Golden Temple, the holiest of Sikh temples, to flush out separatists hiding there. This action angered many Sikhs, even more moderate ones, around the world, who saw it as a violation of a holy place. In retaliation, on October 31st, Gandhi was killed by her Sikh bodyguards. The assassination led to 4 days of riots in Delhi and northern India, in which over 10,000 Sikhs were killed in revenge for the Prime Minister's death. The mobs executing these revenge killings were supported by the ruling Congressional Party, provided with lists of Sikh households, paid, and given supplies such as kerosene. *P and looting were commonplace. Recovery from this period of horror has been slow, with alcohol and drug abuse and high suicide rates common among survivors. 8. Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Ferdinand's assassin, Gavrilo Princip, was trained in terrorism by the Serbian secret society known as the Black Hand. Wanting to destroy Austro-Hungarian rule in the Balkans and to unite the South Slav peoples into a federal nation, he believed that the first step must be the assassination of a member of the Habsburg imperial family or a high official of the government. Princip, his associate Nedeljko Kabranovic, and 4 other revolutionaries awaited the Archduke's procession on June 28, 1914. Kabranovic threw a bomb that bounced off the Archduke's car and exploded beneath the next vehicle. A short time later, while driving to a hospital to visit an officer wounded by the bomb, Francis Ferdinand and Sophie were shot to death by Princip, who said he had aimed not at the Duchess but at General Oskar Potiorek, military governor of Bosnia. Austria-Hungary held Serbia responsible and declared war July 28, marking the start of World War I. Princip was captured and sentenced to 20 years in prison, during which he died from tuberculosis. Thanks for watching. We hope you found our exploration of history's most infamous assassinations both fascinating and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more intriguing historical content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below on which assassination shocked you the most or suggest other historical events you'd like us to cover. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the mysteries of history.